Good afternoon, everyone. Well, it's afternoon at least now as I'm filming this. This is Wednesday before Memorial Day. Many of you know, and as was the case over a year ago during the first weeks at the beginning of this pandemic, directives for protocols related to COVID-19 and practices also from the CDC, from the state of New Jersey, even from the diocese have been changing almost every 24 to 48 hours over the last week and a half or so. This makes navigation complicated for those who actually have to apply the directives and the guidance that's given. However, this time at least, the updates are positive and they're hopeful. Vaccines are significantly cutting virus infection rates, mitigation practices seem to be working, and restrictions are easing instead of tightening. As a church and as a parish, we adjust our own practices in line with the guidelines presented to us, and we do this as soon as we can in the ways that work best for us. Things in the world are obviously still not back to where they were in February of 2020 just yet, but we're closer now than we have been in a long time. And as pandemic restrictions ease, there are a few things that we do need to discuss. Now, COVID-19 directives across the board are seeming to undergo something of a philosophical shift. While the pandemic was at its worst months ago, health and safety restrictions were imposed. They were imposed by authorities, be they civil authorities, the diocese, even by us as a parish. Directives were mandated, including initially the painful shutting down of public spaces. And once those spaces were reopened, directives mandated things like social distancing and mask wearing and enhanced sanitation procedures. As case numbers decrease and vaccination rates increase, a shift has begun to happen from imposed directives to a situation where health and safety of ourselves and of those around us has become more of our personal responsibility. Now, our parish is not yet going to eliminate every pandemic protocol that's been put in place. However, we're going to be lifting a significant portion of them. The CDC and the state of New Jersey has now recommended that those who are fully vaccinated for COVID-19 can forego wearing masks and socially distancing in nearly all settings, indoor and outdoor. They still strongly advise that these practices remain in place for those who are unvaccinated, at least for the time being. Now, there's no way as a parish for us to realistically differentiate between those who have been vaccinated and those who have not. So for that reason, we're going to be lifting our indoor mask requirement and our seating procedures for any events in the church beginning this weekend, on Friday, Memorial Day weekend. However, as a people who are concerned with the common good, I would ask, as your pastor, that you continue to follow the guidance of the state and the CDC to the best of your ability, because as Catholic Christians, we have a responsibility to one another, not just to ourselves for our health and for our comfort. As we move into this new phase of pandemic response, one that we hope signals that COVID-19 will soon no longer be a significant concern for us, we must remain patient with one another. Some amongst us have been waiting with bated breath for the easing of these protocols, but others amongst us are much more reticent. They're much more cautious after experiencing a year or over a year of strict practice. And the pandemic has been traumatic, even for those who have stayed healthy, and that must be acknowledged. Many of us have known and mourned family members and friends who have succumbed to the virus. And of course, personal health and safety is a serious concern for all of us. There are those who will embrace the loosening of restrictions wholeheartedly, and those who are going to be uncomfortable with them for a period of time, whether it's indoors or outdoors, in small groups or in crowds. I ask all of us to have patience and understanding with one another as we navigate this admittedly changed world, as the norm for some is still going to be traumatic for others. As a people of hope, we knew that one day, at least some normalcy would begin to return. And as people of faith, we have placed our trust in God throughout the pandemic. But as a people of love and of charity, we continue to care for one another, as a parish, as a church, as the sacred vocation that's given to each of us in our baptisms calls us to do. I ask you to continue to pray for all of those who have lost their lives due to this pandemic, those who are still dealing with its effects on a daily basis. And I look forward to seeing you in church. God bless you.